again as a target file, and I'm doing the same with all of the other layers. So the way I extract the mask is by selecting the layer and going to the channels, and just make sure that the alpha channel, the mask channel, is turned on, and just selecting all of it and copying it, and then turning all the channels back, the RGB channels, and just going to the layers again and just pasting that mask, and that way I can save it as its own image. So I'm doing the same with the left forest, and now with the road. And also the same with these background mountains. Going again to the channels and selecting only the mask and pasting it back to the layers, to its own layer, saving it again. And now with the background I can only save it, I don't need an alpha for the background, so just saving it. So now I'm going to insert materials to the meshes. So I'm placing a Lambert material to the right forest mesh and just renaming it. Also, it's important to remember to turn on the ambient color to the maximum and the diffuse to minimum. Now just clicking on the color slot and just making a texture as a projection, selecting the camera I need, and also the projection type to be perspective. Also, when I select image, I'll turn the filtering to off. Now I'm going to click on to the transparency tab and just again selecting texture file as a projection, selecting the camera, turning off the filtering type. One more thing to do is under effects to select invert, so the alpha is inverted, because in Maya the alpha channel is inverted. Now I'm doing the same thing, applying a Lambert material to the road, and again placing a texture to the color slot and the alpha texture to the transparency slot. Also the projection type as a perspective, and the camera, I'm choosing the projection camera that I've made. Also turning off the filtering, and make sure for the matte textures to turn on invert under effects. So now I'm continuing adding Lambert materials and again textures to the left forest. Again, perspective type, projection type as perspective, selecting the camera, turning filtering off, and for the transparency the same thing, perspective, projection, selecting the camera, turning the filtering off, and selecting invert under the effects tab. Also, I'm turning on the Mental Ray renderer from Windows, setting and preferences, and plugin manager, so I can make a test render. And also make sure that you render from the projection camera and not from the perspective. And as you can see, everything is coming out as expected. So let's continue adding Lambert material to the background forest and mountain. Again, using a file texture as a projection, selecting the projection type as perspective, selecting the camera, turning the filtering off, also for the background I'm going to place only a single texture, because the background doesn't have an alpha channel, an alpha matte, so I'm just making it as a projection, just a single texture. Just renaming it background. And now just I'm going to turn off the image plane. Now I'm going to do a test renderer, which seems fine, so I'm just going to pump up the quality, the max samples to 2, and just render again to see it in better quality. And this image matches what we had in Photoshop. So I've created a new camera. I'm going to rename it Animation, and this will be our animation camera that we'll create our animation from. And I'm going to snap it back to the projection camera now. And now extend the frame range to 150 frames. And I'm going to take the time slider to the last frame, make a keyframe there, move it to the first frame, and now take the animation camera just below the projection camera and make another keyframe there. Now we have our animation. I'm just going to render from the animation camera to see how much of the camera move we have, how much range we have. Now I'm going to tune the frame settings, so I'm going to turn 720p HD resolution. As you can see, it's a little bit too much of a camera move, so I'm going to bring up the animation camera, make another keyframe on the first frame, and just test render again to see if the camera move is okay. And it's not, so I'm moving it up a little bit. As you can see, in the corner we have still a little bit from the image plane. So this seems fine, so I'm going to place this first keyframe, and now the animation is finished. So now I'm going to render the first and last frames just to see the extent of the camera move. And this is the camera move, so it's pretty nice, and we have a wide range of the camera move. So now I'm going to just test several more frames from from the timeline to see if everything is okay, if there is some stretching or that sort of stuff. But everything seems to be okay. So now I'm just going to test several more frames. And I'm going to render this the whole animation. So this is the final animation, and as you can see, the camera move is pretty nice, but that's just the beginning of camera projection inside of Maya. I hope you liked these tutorials. Thanks and bye.